Hi guys, this is Bill from howtolanguages.com, and this is volume 2, or video 2, in the beginner series. And this one, last time I talked about motivation. This time I'm talking about how to choose a language. Now, some people this may not even apply to, and feel free to skip this if you already have your heart set on a language. But I do get a lot of questions on, well, what language should I learn, and is this going to be useful, and you know, how hard is this, and how easy is this? And honestly, guys, seriously, the only thing that's important is keeping that motivation. Going back to the last video, usefulness is nice. Exposure to the language is nice. Availability of resources is very nice. And easy or hard, I'm one of those people who really don't believe that there's such a thing as a hard language or an easy language. Everything that is easy, quote unquote easy, in one regard, turns out to be more difficult in another. So forget all about that. The important thing is what strikes a chord with you. Do you like the way the language sounds? What use do you personally have for it? And it's okay to not have any. To me, there is no such thing as a useless language. To me, all languages are useful. If there's a person in the world who uses this language, then it is worth learning. Even if it is just for you to satisfy a heritage piece or just an innate curiosity. I know people who choose languages because they've heard they're the hardest language, or they've heard that they're an easy language, or a lot of people here in the United States, they choose Spanish because, well, Spanish, there's so many Spanish-speaking people here. It's very useful. And truthfully, that's one of the big reasons why I'm learning Spanish. It is very useful. There's get a lot of exposure to native speakers. I don't love Spanish. I don't love the way that it sounds. I'm interested in the culture, but truthfully, if not for the massive number of Spanish speakers here that I have exposure to, and my being that it's utilitarian, I probably would not just be learning Spanish for the fun of it. So, but I also know that I know where my motivation peaks and valleys are, so it's a lot easier for me to take on a language that maybe I'm not in love with, because I've done it a couple times. Right now, I am in love with Chinese. I fell in love with Cantonese. I'm even more in love now with Mandarin, and that's a driving motivation for me. On the plus side, yeah, there's a ton of native speakers in the world. Maybe not a super duper number outside of China, but there's plenty. Plenty around. There's plenty of Mandarin speakers and Cantonese speakers here in the United States. So, and pretty much anywhere you go, they've got a Chinatown kind of thing. But truthfully speaking, if you can come up with any reason inside to learn a language, go with it. If it will keep you motivated, go with it. There's a lot of people. I know people who are learning Tagalog, or who are learning Russian or Polish, because they have that heritage piece. They're a heritage learner. Maybe they're I have a really good friend who was raised, his father came over from Germany, still has a very heavy German accent, speaks German. Didn't really speak much German at home, so my friend understands quite a bit of German, but has almost no active piece, no speaking. And he's really motivated right now to learn because he feels that's part of his heritage. It's part of where he comes from. It's part of him, his nationality. So he's learning it from that perspective, not because he thinks that he's going to be able to all of a sudden start, speaking to all these people and use it in his job or anything like that. But I mean, that's part of him, and he feels kind of a symbiotic relationship with that language, and that's good. So there's a million different reasons why you want to learn a language, or why you should want to learn a language. And as far as choosing a language, there's nothing wrong with test driving. And I know people that have done this. You say, oh, I want to learn French. So you start learning French for, a couple of, sorry about the barking dogs here. You start learning French for, a couple of months, and you kind of lose interest, you lose your passion, whatever. That's okay. That's okay. Try something else. If you want to learn a language and you're motivated to do that, find that language that's right. There's nothing that says that, hey, I bought a book, so I have to keep working at this language until I've reached fluency. It's okay. I thought I really, with Cantonese, I started and I got burned out pretty quick after a couple of months. So basically my takeaway is there's no stupid reason to learn a language. There are no useless languages. And take some test drives, do some research on languages. Feel free to shoot me an email. I'd be willing to get on Skype and talk about the ins and outs. Just don't do it for, I heard it was an easy language. And don't do it for, don't avoid a language that you want to learn, like Japanese. Maybe you're a big anime fan. Don't avoid it because you hear it's hard. Okay? Just that's the one thing I ask. So, but there's no such thing as a hard language or an easy language. They're just languages, and they're there for communication. And they're there. They're there. There's resources for almost any language I can think of that anyone has heard enough about to be motivated to learn. Obviously, you may run into some issues that way with some languages. I mean, if there's some sort of say African dialect that's only spoken by 2,000 people, okay, maybe that might be difficult to find resources for. But if you've heard of that language and you are motivated for it, you'll find a way. So that means you probably in some way, shape, or form have a connection to it. So, all right. So this was volume 2. So not 100% sure what we'll talk about in the next newbie lesson, but the next beginner video. But it should be out soon. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you'd like to see next. Thanks.